Hey guys, just Matt Luxon here from FA Fitness and Blast Fitness Camps, mattluxonhealthandfitness.com. Just thought I'd shoot a quick video really from an athlete's perspective from what just went on in Mallorca with the half Ironman 70.3. Just thought I'd perhaps shoot a quick video for those of you perhaps competing in it for the first time, perhaps the first time you've ever competed in a half Ironman or something like that, or maybe even just the first time you travelled abroad to do one. One of the things I'd like to say about this event was just how slick it was. Everything's so well organised, right from when you get there. One thing I would say is I'd recommend getting there at least 3 days prior to the event. So if the event's on a Saturday, I'd recommend getting there at least on the Wednesday, just so you can get out on the bike, get your bike together. If there's any problems, head down to one of the many bike shops that are around the start area. The next thing I'd say is like when you're packing your stuff to take with you, like take as much of the sort of spare stuff as you think you might need, because when you get there, obviously you just want to have everything that you think. So like including like sun cream. Don't forget to sun cream the back of your hands, because I've got sunburn on the back of the hands. The other thing I'd say is like get down to the water, have a little practice in the water down there. Maybe on the Friday, like something, or maybe the Thursday afternoon we did. Just so you can get used to swimming, because unless you've swum open water in a place like that before, like it's quite different being able to see the bottom all the way through, see all the fish. It's quite a nice experience. What else do I recommend? I recommend staying in an apartment that's not too far away, just so that then you can get down to the start-finish area nice and easily on the morning of the race. It's a massive transition, so definitely get down there as early as you can. You're going to have to deflate your tyres overnight as well, because the heat obviously gives you extra pressure on your tyres. So I'd recommend letting your tyres down so you don't get there in the morning and they're burst. Make sure you take plenty of like Glide and stuff, so when you're putting your wetsuit on, and make sure you're well covered up with, well, I wore Factor 44 because of my skin, but yeah, definitely make sure you're well covered up. When you're there, like bear in mind the temperature, so make sure you take your salts with you, just to make sure you're rebalancing that. So definitely pop them in your little in your suitcase on the way. With the apartment as well, like maybe I stayed at this place called the Sea Club Alcudia, and I'm in no way affiliated to them, so I wouldn't like, it's not in any way trying to promote them. It's just that I stayed with them and the people were so helpful. We actually had a flat on the ground floor, so we were able just to put the bike straight in, just saves with the hassle of putting it in a lift and going through that way. So definitely recommend that place. Obviously plenty of other places to go to, I'm sure. What else do I do? Write yourself a really thorough kit list, because when you're going abroad, like make sure you take plenty of cable ties. You won't be able to take CO2 gas in the airplane, so make sure you haven't got that in there. And you have to buy that when you get there. I'll definitely consider like the tri-suit that you wear as well. So you know, obviously it does tend to be hot, so if you're going to wear one of those compression tri-suits, just bear that in mind, because I personally wear a one piece with a zip down the front. My friend wore a 2-piece, but I'll probably steer away from the sort of compression type tri-suits. So I think that's probably just from an athlete's perspective, just a little bit of a, if it's your first one. Obviously, if you're an experienced triathlete, some of this will be sort of stuff you know anyway. But I definitely recommend doing. It's a very long transition, so consider what you do at the transition. I've not yet left my shoes on the bike yet. So definitely know what you're going to do when you get to that point. I mean, it's a long transition, so yeah, get your head around that. The mountain, to be honest with you, is not like if you're used to cycling in England around the hills. Like it really isn't that bad. Just don't go too crazy up the hill. It's quite technical on the way down, but then you can just kind of like just take it a little bit more steady down the hill if you're a bit worried about that. Better to make sure you get to the bottom than not. And then the second part is kind of flat as well. So I went with a road bike setup. Found I was just blitzing people on the hill, and to be honest with you, I was overtaking a lot of people who were riding with a tri bike as well, or even on the flat. So for me, the road bike setup went really really well for me. Um, uh, I think unless you're going to be going over sort of 28 mile an hour average, I don't know that you're going to get much benefit really from having a tri bike set up, particularly on that course. And it's not even the most hilly course, so you have to consider sort of what your average speed you think is going to be right the way throughout the duration. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap that up there. I think that's pretty much just remember, like, the temperature's pretty varied out there, so we had a pretty particularly hot run yesterday, which catches people out. So just bear that in mind with your fueling, etc., and making sure you're taking on plenty of electrolytes on the bike. Okay, take it steady. Bye bye.